Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How are you, Abu Bakr?
I'm fine, sir. Alhamdulillah. How about you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. New class relational database system. And I am Mohammed Hamzamin. I am presenting you your lecture number one of your relational database systems. All right, in database management system, we have some lecture content. Then have some topics around dictive content, and we will learn how these DBMS will work. Lecture content explain that DBMS overview, DBMS types, explain the different types, or you can say level of database architecture. Then only sole database architecture, DBMS. The first is what is database? Basically, database is a collection of data or a real-time records, real-time transactions, or the user data that we want to store in database. Database is any collection of electronic records that can be processed to produce useful information. It says electronic records. The records that is being stored in the electronic devices such as database, such as hard drives, the devices that will operate by electricity that can be processed to produce useful information. Basically, database, you can say it is a store of raw data. User only store raw data, then extract it out for the processing, for machine learning, for business intelligence, process the data, and then get a useful output that is called information, the required information. What is DBMS? DBMS is basically a software that collectively operates multiple DB at the same time or in a single window or at a single server. DBMS refers to the technology solution used to optimize and manage the storage and retrieval of data from databases. Here's a word, databases. It means DBMS, database management system, is a software that single-handedly, or you can say single at a single window, can process the data from multiple databases. An issue management responsibilities for DBMS encompass. What are the basic responsibilities for DBM? Information to hold information within the database. The processes applied to the databases such as access and modification. The database logical structure. We will design in near future the exact logical structure of DBMS. You can say a relational DBMS. An issue basically database have a structure. Everything in the real world has some structure, a basic structure on which the entire building is developed. But in the software, we can say the entire line of code, the entire software has been built on the basis of the logical structure. By means of logical structure of any software like DBMS, the basic structure like CRUD operation, create, read, update, and delete. These are the basic structures and the basic operations in the DBMS. Or you can say in a software, computer software. But in the databases with CRUD operations, you need to specify either your data is being stored in solid state or not. If yes, then what are the protocols? What are the protocols that we should abide by to store our data in the database? This is how we can define our logical structure. Is that good? If not so, then we will implement it in near future. So don't worry about it.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Thank you. All right, now we are going to deal with types of DBMS. What are the types of software that deals with databases? The first one is object oriented, relational, distributed, hierarchical, networks, and many others. But these are the important as well concerned with your indicative content. Object oriented. Basically, in object oriented, we make a instance of any class in any language. You can use nowadays you can use Node.js as well, but in the previous decades, we were using C, C++, and the obsolete language that were the modern languages at that time. But nowadays, you can use Node.js. You can also use MongoDB as well. You can also use Next.js for object-oriented databases. In object-oriented paradigm, the basic concept is you need to deploy an instance, an object from a class, and from that object, you can access any part or any information in the entire database. Okay, the basic concept is that object-oriented database emerged to meet the need of coupling object-oriented programming languages with our database. The first object-oriented programming languages were C, Java, and C++. After that, many other languages were being introduced, and then we were using it. But nowadays, C++ is also a well-known language with its updates. But Node, React, these are the modern languages that we can use in object-oriented paradigm. Although object-oriented databases have been around since late 1970s, means in the previous decades, they have seen relatively low adoption in the recent decades, with growing prevalence of functional programming languages and relational databases. But nowadays, MongoDB is using the same concept, but they are going towards advancement with modern languages, with modern structures that we will discuss, inshallah, in the future. Object-oriented concept. Abstraction. By the name means abstraction, it is an outer view of some database in the DBMS. And the language that we can use in that paradigm is object-oriented programming language. That may be C, that may be C++, that may be Java, or whatever you want to use. Abstraction is a way to capturing necessary information to perform desired functionality while excluding unneeded information. And how we are going to perform that functionality? By doing instance, by deploying instance of the parent class and accessing it in the functionality, or you can say the function. Not only does abstraction reduce complexity, but it also enables developers to easy select and reuse the important functional information, means lines of code, quickly, which benefits both timelines and budget of the client. For example, you are developing a DB, or you are doing a coding um, frame, and your client says you have a timeline of 1 day 24 hours, and the budget is $15. So by means of abstraction, you can follow the guidelines and you can meet the timeline and budget with very equal basis. Encapsulation. Encapsulation means to cover up, to encapsulate something, to hide something. Encapsulation refers to the ability of each object to maintain private state within its assigned class. This means that no other object, you can say that the bank balance in your banking account, or you can say banking app account, the main concept is encapsulation. You can only view your personal bank account into the banking app, right?
Sir, can you explain encapsulation again?
Yes. Encapsulation, the basic purpose and the concept is to maintain privacy, to hide something, to encapsulate something from unknown access. This is the concept of encapsulation. Okay. It is an ability of each object to maintain a private state within the assigned class. I am talking to you guys that you can view your own personal bank account, the whatever the figure that you are holding by your account is, into your banking app, right? So this is how encapsulation concept being implemented. Is it good?
Yes, sir, I got it.
This means that no other object can directly access that object state. Yeah, you can say it's a basic encryption. It's a basic level, very basic level of encryption. Means no other or no unintended or no, unidentified user or no unidentified object can access your bank account or whatever the details that is associated with your bank account. Either the bank is get compromised, or whatever the protocols are getting compromised, but it is only solely on the bank's. This means that no other object can directly access the object state, and no other class can alter its function until the developer or the admin need to do so. Okay. The benefit of encapsulation is that it protects the object from unwanted interference and human error, just like the automated reports in automation, or you can say the automatic reports that is being produced by your banking app with your single click, that is totally free from human error. Why? Because it follows encapsulation. It just pick up the details from your transaction history and paste it in a single paper and then make a PDF and then download it into your storage file folder. Any one of you have any question in this slide or anything that, yeah, sure. Basically, abstraction is a outer view. You can say, here is another function that is being introduced in the banking app. I am talking to you with the reference of banking because only and solely banking is the niche where you can discuss the sole transaction from start to end, from ATM, from being using mobile app, or from checks, from mode of money, paper. You can check each and every transaction from start to end. That's why I am talking to you by the reference of banking management system. Basically, it is a DBMS, database management system, through which your transaction being processed, managed, and monitored by the super admin. Abstraction. So come back to the abstraction. Abstraction is a outer view. You can say you are not getting logged into the system. You are just viewing from outside. You are viewing the necessary part as a user outside from the system. You are you are not getting logged into your bank account via your banking app. You are just pressing the button view bank balance, and it is generating a call from your social security number, from your identification number, and it is generating a sole view that is associated with your identity. Either this identity has this amount or not in that is being stored in my database. Is it good?
Yes, sir.
All right, inheritance. Okay, anyone of you know about inheritance from real life?
No, sir.
Inheritance by the name means that is being inherited from parent into child. Or a parent class can access everything, or a parent can access everything that is being accessed by the child. But child is not getting the same access as compared to the parent because it is not the parent, it's a child. We cannot allow a child class or child inherited instance or object that can use the same protocol as parent class. Inheritance enables object to acquire some of the attributes or properties of another object using the existing fields and methods. And these existing fields and methods are properly discussed and developed by the developers who invented the concept of inheritance in that database. Okay. For example, let's say your father buys a car and you buy another car. Both car have different names, right? Let's say your father buys a Toyota Vision and you are going to buy some BMW type. Both are the cars. The class is car. The class is vehicle, right? But the properties are different.
Yes, sir.
Is it good?
Yes, sir. I understand the inheritance.
Means if my father buys a Toyota car and I am going to buy some BMW car, it doesn't mean these two are two separate versions. The class is same. We both call them vehicle. We both call them car. But the name, the properties, the attributes are separate. BMW proposed some separate fields, some separate attributes in their own car. Toyota invented some other attributes in their own car. For example, inheritance enables object to acquire some of the attributes or properties of another object by reusing the existing fields and methods. For example, assume we have a parent class car, a child class Chevrolet, and an object car Camaro. Using inheritance, we can easily create object Impala. Now we are creating Impala, the object. Impala is using by the car, both car, by taking the fields and methods from object camera and then further customizing Impala through additional attributes or methods. For example, my father says Toyota have the doors that is opening upside down and BMW has a simple doors. There is nothing that will take that car from class car, but the only thing that we can discuss about both car is the attributes. The doors are opening in this way, and in BMW are opening the gates in the simple way. You can talk about the attributes, you can talk about the properties, but if you want to say a car, both are the cars. Inheritance represents the significant time saving while helping to reduce error in object creation. Any doubt?
Could you explain polymorphism again?
Yeah, we are going to check this polymorphism
Oh,
with
okay.
another concept.
Okay, sir. Got it. I understand inheritance, sir.
All right, anyone of you that is left behind? Inheritance. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is a concept that it means child can enjoy the same right as the parents were. Polymorphism enables a child class to use class attributes like its parent class. For example, my father is going to manage my family. If I am going to manage my family, I am going to register myself in my national database, being an independent identity of my nation. Because my father is the independent identity of my nation. Okay. So if I want to enjoy the same rights and the same attributes as my father enjoying right now, I need to enable myself and register myself as an independent identity for my nation. Abubakar, is it good? And all of you?
Sir, I quite did not understand polymorphism.
All right, let's discuss. While retaining all of its unique methods and attributes. For example, if Abubakar, do you have a bank account? Right?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Oh, okay, let's say myself. I have a bank account. Okay, my father also have a bank account.
Yes, sir.
But if we talk about some 30 years ago, I do not have any bank account because I was quite a little child, or you can say a kid. That's why. Okay. But my father have a bank account from being 50 years. And my father is enjoying and accessing all the attributes and the properties from my nation. Okay. Like he can travel in any part of the country independently. Can you do so, Abubakar?
No, sir.
Why? Because you are not independent, right?
Yes, sir.
If you want to, then you should need to present yourself as an independent identity in your nation, in your country, right? I
Yes, sir.
enable myself, I enable myself to be an independent identity in my country. So now me and my father can travel, can access the equal rights as my father enjoying right now or in the past few decades. Now I enable myself. I enable myself to enjoy the equal rights, to enjoy the equal independence as my father enjoying right now. This is the concept of polymorphism, that a parent class and a child class. And here the child class can use all the properties as the parent class is using. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, in polymorphism, child class can also access and use that properties too, while retaining all its uniqueness. Okay.
Yes, sir. Got it.
To use a real world example, assume that we have a parent class of vehicle with a child class car and want to determine tax deduction qualification. User defined data may identify which vehicle qualify for tax deduction. Only those vehicles will qualify for tax deduction they who have some limited price tag, for example, 100K real, but those are simply attributes within the data structure of that class. For example, if KSA government says vehicles, and in vehicles only car, the class is car, not heavy vehicles, only cars who are under 500,000 Saudi riyals are qualified for tax deduction. So we can say that whatever the car that you buy under 500,000 SAR will be qualified for tax deduction. Is there anything that is being getting confused you? All right. Do you have any question regarding your any concept, inheritance, polymorphism, or any previous concept? Then you can ask.
No, sir. I have no questions.
All right. Anyone? Basically, in inheritance, we are facing some, you can say, hurdles or bottlenecks. So that's why computer scientists introduce polymorphism, because in some advanced, or you can say in gaming, while developing gaming, when we are using C++, we and when we are calling some functions at some time of urgent, or you can say urgent operation, like urgent break in a gaming, in a racing gaming, when we want to apply urgent brake in a full speed of car, inheritance is doing some blockage. That's why computer scientists introduce polymorphism that is actually being implemented in, you can say, in the early coding of Need for Speed or the racing games. Okay. Basically, polymorphism, these are all the concepts that is belonging from object-oriented paradigms. And in object-oriented paradigms, these are good to operate in gaming circles. Like Unity is using object-oriented paradigm. So this is the reason that polymorphism is very helpful in our object-oriented paradigms, and it is a advanced level, or you can say advanced feature from inheritance. Okay. All right. Anyone of you have any other question?
No questions, sir. I have no questions.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Building block of object-oriented DB. OOD, object-oriented database. Object-oriented databases contain following foundational elements. Objects. Objects, basically, every class has some objects, just like every home is built by some brick, some foundational element. So, object is the brick, class is a house. You can say object is a nail that holds the properties combined together. Okay. Objects are real world entities such as specific tasks in to-do list. Okay. Take the garbage out. It's a task. So the object is that task. You need to take your garbage out from your home. All objects. are assigned a class within the data structures for both hierarchy and functional purposes. For hierarchy, we use inheritance, and functional purpose, we use what we use? We use polymorphism, okay? So when you hear the phrase instance of class, basically it's the object. This is simply the reference to the objects created from particular class. Just like you can create an object name as car from the class vehicle, you can create uh, an object named as burger from fast food family, means fast food class. Attributes and methods. An object has some state and behaviors. Object also have some properties which is called attributes, like name. Name of object is car. Status, active. Create date, 11/11/23. Set of properties. Properties are black in color, white in color, and have some four wheels with two wheels extra, with one wheels extra. Objects taken together represent its state. Object also have some behavior known as the method, any action or function that modify or operate on its properties. Whenever object being operated, it will operated by the properties. For example, if you want to operate your car, then are you operating the entire car, or are you operating its properties, or you can say attributes, like you are using steering, you are using gear lever, you are using speedometer. What do you think?
So, could you clarify one more time?
Yeah, when you are using your car, okay, are you using the entire car or are you using the attributes?
The attributes? Is it the
Yes,
attributes?
and that attributes operates the property, and the property is running, right? Whenever you operate your
Yes, sir.
car, it's property of the car that it will run from its zero position to final position, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Example in software, example include update task. It's a function that will get operate when the object's been called, or get task history. This will get operate by the object. Okay. Any confusion or any doubt in this slide?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yes.
Thank you. Are grouping of all objects. Basically, objects formed within the class. Okay, classes are the boundaries for the objects, and objects has the reference of the parent class. Classes are a grouping of all objects. You can deploy one object and multiple objects, or you can say instances of a single class. It is just like the family. A family can have one single child, or you can say a multiple child, and behavior, and all child show same properties and same behavior from the same class. In our example, we talk about task objects. The object together all belong to the task class. You can make an object T1, whatever the name of the object, you can think about it. It is totally up to you. Pointers are addresses that facilitate both object access and by reference access. By reference means the address and establishing relationship between objects. Here you can see the code. We are deploying a class name task. Then we are deploying its attributes, means properties. Properties of class are string name. Here you can check the name has the data type of string. You can enter name into the type of string. Status. It is also have string data type. Then date. Date is another data type and the property associated with it is create underscore date. These are the properties with different data types. Now, whatever the data that is being associated with these properties will get stored with string, and in date type. And then we are deploying a function, means behavior. In that behavior, we are passing string status, and the behavior is update this task. Okay, we are updating this class task with these properties, and the only property will be updated, and the property name is status. The remaining properties will be same, and the updation only happens in the second property, which is status. Okay, what is an example of object oriented database? MongoDB does offer an OOT called realm. Realm is, you can say, a kingdom, a domain, a sphere, a domain in which the all entities are of same type. Like uh, in the domain of data, every data being stored in the same data type. Like date. Date is the data type. Date is a domain in which all data is being stored in the format of date. Okay, where the query language, the language that we are going to use for developing database is query language. That may be SQL, that may be MySQL. SQL and MySQL has a little bit difference with syntax and load time. Language construct native objects through SDK. SDK means software development kit that is being used. For example, in JavaScript, SDK means JS SDK software development kit, and object fetch. Fetch means to query some data from database. Look something like, here is the query that is being used for JS SDK. Const my task. Constant my task. The object is my task, and that return type is const. Realm domain dot object for primary key, and the table is the class is task. 1 2 3 4 5. These are the parameters that we are passing from JS SDK to fetch native objects from the database. Okay, but
Yes,
we
sir.
will use some simple and solid state database. Solid by means of solid state, it doesn't mean it is SSD. It means state that holds some time with real time environment. JS SDK is now obsolete as in my knowledge, but are used by some different obsolete organization as well. because they are not going to use modern languages due to some, uh, you can say, human errors. Where are object oriented databases being used? The question is, where are the OOD used? Are most often used with object oriented programming languages like Java. The first ever object oriented language is Java, then C, then C, then Kotlin, then C Sharp, then Node.js, and then React. Node.js and Next.js, these are the next level object oriented programming languages. And then Swift. Industries that use OODs are typically those built on an object-oriented language and to boost productivity while working with complex data structure. One good example of an OOD is online IT training provider CBT Nuggets. Okay, CBT Nuggets is just like Coursera. Okay, do you know about Coursera?
No, sir.
All right, platform for studies. Coursera is a very successful platform that you can study for free and also for paid as well. Okay, it can issue you this site, this platform can issue you a valid certificate if you pass their certifications, and their certificate is accepted worldwide. Okay, and also there is another boot camp. There is another site, Simply Learn. Okay, you can become a partner, you can become an instructor, you can provide your resources to them. Okay, they can deal with AI, machine learning, just like Coursera, cybersecurity, cloud computing, DevOps, business, quality, software development, and this software development in full stack. Okay, agile and scrum means project management, IT services, if you want to learn digital marketing, if you want to learn big data, the very vast and outstanding field, and they can pay you either millions of dollars for your big data skills. Okay, every field gives you some thousands of dollars maximum, but only big data is the only field. Either the cybersecurity, they can pay you. If you want to learn cybersecurity, you will be able to get a certified ethical hacking course, and then you will pass some uh, certification. You can hack into some laptop and you can hack into some bank account and you can get whatever you want to, but the big data is the only field, is the only solely field that can pay you $1 million single-handedly and very widely in the entire world. Okay, so if you
Yes,
want to learn anything, you can visit these two websites, Simply Learn and Coursera. You can view whatever you want to learn. Okay, so this is the site, this is the concept that you can use into your assignment, that you can use into your concept. So these two sites are solely for you guys to learn anything. If you want to learn DB, then you are welcome. If you want to learn some other skills, then you are welcome too. Okay, so keep in mind and excel in your IT field, excel in your skill. Okay, all right. We were talking about CBT
yes,
Nuggets.
sir.
CBT Nuggets is a IT training provider, just like Coursera, just like Simply Learn. But the main difference is CBT Nuggets videos are only 10 to 20 minutes. and they called their videos nuggets. That's why they are being very popular in the entire world. They are called CBT nuggets. Why? Because their videos are just like the chunk. They will explain you the sole purpose of the video, sole purpose and the sole mindset, the sole point of the concept, and they will leave. The only nugget long is 21 to 22 minutes long. Their videos are 20 minutes long. Enough. That's why they are being called as the Nuggets Company, and these are the IT training provider and successful IT training provider company. CBD Nuggets use realm means domain to offer more than 5,000 courses ranging from basic computer skills to complex networking management. CBD Nuggets works to ensure subscriber can view content from anywhere at any time. To meet this promise, classes are being delivered through streaming videos that range from 10 to 20 minutes. And these are called as nuggets. Okay? Content is available on both desktop, mobile, iPhone, iOS, uh, Android, Droid. Do you know about Droid?
Sorry, sir?
All right, leave it. You can access at any time from your laptop, from computer and mobile too. Okay. Relational database. All right, the database that have some relations into the tables between them. A relational database is a type of database that stores, provides access to data points that are related to one another. Data points are basically tables, okay? And your data is get stored in these tables, just like the hard drive of your computer. Some data, some files, some readable files, some video files are being stored on your laptop, and like your laptop, you have some hundreds of laptops, and these hundreds of laptops are connected to one network. Then that network node is known as the relational DB, and your computer hard drives are being called as the table, and the data that is being stored into your tables is the user data. Okay, in basically in cloud computing, the concept is just like that. Your data is being stored on someone's device, hard drive. Okay, and that device is get connected with some online server. You are basically, the concept is, from the end user, your data is being stored on that server, but it is not. Servers are basically designed to manage the request of end users and divert the traffic from one port to another. Okay, just like the postman. Servers are designed on the concept of postman. They are not storing the post of user. They are just diverted. They are collecting the request from first user and then uh, divert the post to the second, means end user, that this request recommends from your IP, and now I am referring it to the concerned IP. Okay. Relational databases are based on relational model, an initiative, straightforward way of representing data in tables. In relational database, each row, each row in the table is record with unique ID called key. And with that unique ID, and with that key, you are going to access your record. If you are not having that key, your record will be private for entire life.
Yes, sir.
All right. The columns of table hold attributes of data, means properties of data. And each record usually has a value for each attribute, making it easy to establish relationship among the data points. Data points are basically data tables, asset properties, and RDBMS. If you are using RDBMS, then it only holds asset properties. Asset properties: A for atomicity, C for consistency, I for isolation, and D for durability. Atomicity means your record is the atomic record with the unique key in the entire RDBMS relational database. No name or no same record ever happened, or this record or the specific record will not be duplicated in the entire database. For example, at record number 6, Abu Bakr, Firdaus, Maliha, these three are consecutively placed at 6, 7, and 8. So, no other records are being duplicated with these references records. Means Abu Bakr 6, Hafifa 7, and Maliha 8. These three records are not being duplicated in the entire database, and these are the reference records. This happens with all the records, means there is no duplication of data in the relational database management system. This is called atomicity. It says defines all the elements that make up a complete database transaction. Transaction means to complete every record, every attribute of record. C. Consistency. It defines whenever your transaction is being done. For example, your daily life transaction, bank account transaction is being done, then the record must be saved, the updated record. If you transferred some money from your account to someone another account, then the updated record will be subtracted from the original one, and it will get displayed onto your screen. If someone credited some amount into your bank account, then it will add that amount into the present bank account and update it with the surplus amount. Isolation. It means your bank balance will not be visible someone else or some other user. Okay. Durability. It means your data will become permanent until or unless if you change if you change something in the profile or into the bank balance via transaction, via uploadation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Here is the picture. User stores some raw data into the database. Okay. And user, data user, requests some information from that database. That information will process by the front end application, and that front end application have some drive program that will pass the request from their medium to the database, means that pass the request from front end to the back end. Now at back end, RDBMS getting the request of some specific data, it calculates, it refers the identity number and send into the database. Database will check the reference number, means the identity record, and fetch out the record and all the details and throw them back to the RDBMS. RDBMS revert them back to the front end application, and front application processed and organized and show to the end user. Okay. If you feel any query regarding your this lecture or any line, then you can ask. Okay. We will meet into the next lecture, inshallah.